Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer, dear listener, my name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe, your host of this great and wonderful show. We've just hit the milestone of 3,000 subscribers, and we are growing. And please, if you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe right away. My guest today is Mr. Abraham Kwesi Kumado from the former Gold Coast, otherwise known as the land of Nkrumah, otherwise known as Ghana. I'm so excited to have you here, Mr. Khumado. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you mind telling the viewers who you are, sharing a little bit of the background, what you've been up to in Ghana?
All right, thank you. My name is, like you rightly introduced, my name is Abraham Kwesi Kumado. I work with the University of Ghana. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, Association of Certified Chartered Accountants, UK, also Association of Chartered Accountants, Ghana.
Yeah.
I hold masters in finance. I did first degree in banking and finance, and I did higher national diploma in accounting.
I'm also the same.
Oh my God.
In terms of banking.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I have been with the university for over 18 years now.
Okay.
Served in various capacities.
Okay.
That's what I've been up to.
Well, one of your famous sayings is collaborate or die.
That's right.
And that's the reason you are in Botswana. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship, networking, collaboration. How did you come up with the phrase collaborate or die?
This phrase is very important, and it's as a result of the travel from Ghana to South Africa and even to Botswana. Now, you realize that it's not everything you can do with money. I met Seremi, who is a business coach, and through collaboration, which I call one of the levels of revenue, we'll get into that.
Yes.
That's why I'm here. So for Africa to do well, if one African country is doing well, the rest will not do well. What it means is that the those African countries who have muscles should be able to help the others to come up. Now, the members of the African countries, that's the individuals, we need to collaborate.
Absolutely.
So important.
Yes.
If we want to grow businesses, there has to be collaboration. I should be able to collaborate with you in Ghana. So when you are coming to Ghana, you know that Kwesi is there.
Yes.
I do all the necessary background job for you to reduce the stress. And then you come to Ghana freely, as I've also enjoyed coming to Botswana freely.
Wow.
So it is either we are in the era of either we collaborate as individuals or as African continent, or we perish.
I'm very excited about that because I think Kwame Nkrumah in 1963 gave a famous speech in Addis Ababa.
That's right.
When he said, you know, political independence will take you, I'm paraphrasing now, will only take you so far.
That's right.
The important thing is to push for economic independence.
That's right.
What do you think of that speech and what you in Ghana are doing? Because I'm excited because it's where A.F.C.T.A is based. I mean, that's where the secretariat is based.
That's right. Now, so let's look at what Kwame Nkrumah said and whether it is relevant in today's setting.
Yes.
We are here today in 2021, and Africans do not still have one currency. If I want to do a simple transaction, I have to change from Ghana cedi to dollars and to pula, or to rand, or any other country. So the idea of us as a country, which was also espoused by the late Gaddafi, which is still relevant, is to form a United States of Africa. It's so very important. And if we don't get to that stage, we would be doing businesses and we are getting nowhere.
You're getting nowhere, okay. Now, let's talk about your job. We're going to talk about A.F.C.T.A in a moment, but let's talk about your job, your current activities as an accountant at the University of Ghana. I mean, I'm mindful of the fact that the population of Ghana is 30 million.
Yes.
The student population is 50,000
That's right.
of that one university, and
That's
there are
right.
many others.
That's right.
And the staff of 5,000.
That's right.
Tell us about what that job entails and the excitement involved in
Yes.
dealing with all this. Because I'm sure there are quite a few challenges.
There are quite a few challenges. You see,
Yeah.
dealing with students is one of the most interesting areas because students have different perception and understanding of what this whole world is made up of.
Yes.
So we'll go into COVID in a bit, but let's take this COVID protocol of protocols that we have put in place.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine the number of students you see unmasked? We write there boldly that no mask, no entry.
Mm.
So but it's also exciting knowing that you are serving the next generation.
Mm.
So we've done that in the past 18 years with gladness. We've given some of them mentorship. We've helped some of them to get jobs. Because we know few people. Once you are in the industry, you know few people. I've helped some people also to do internships. So for the past years, it's been mentorship, it's been coaching, it's been giving business advices depending on who needs my help and where I want to. And some of these things we do them for free.
Oh,
because we are helping.
Yes, yes. And indeed, you've been in the profession for 18 years?
Yes.
And are you doing mentorship specifically for accounting students?
Yes, I'm doing mentorship for accounting students. There are some of accounting students who also have entrepreneurship skills. One of the courses we have in University of Ghana at the business school is called marketing and entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is now taught as part and parcel of the business education.
Yes.
So that's the theoretical aspect. Now, one of the reasons why I'm here also is to do a collaboration and what I'll call exchange programs. So for example, in time to come, some of the students that I will identify will be able to come to South Africa or Botswana to have a collaboration, to have a feel different from our own environment, to see how things are also done in South Africa or Botswana, which may be different from the way those of us in the West African countries will do them. So I've mentored quite a lot of students, and I've mentored quite a lot of people in terms of coaching them as to what to do in life. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about, if you call it a side hustle of coaching. What systems do you have in place, and what sort of people do you coach?
Yeah. So we have students are one of them. Professional students who also want to become like me.
Yes.
They will also come. So the person is doing BSc in accounting or BSc in finance. So he comes around, say, how did you do it? How must I do it? So you coach them. In life, you have to start from 1 before you get to 2. Some of them they have all the facilities we never had. So you find out that in recent, the youngest chartered accountant in my country was 18 years.
Youngest?
Yes, isn't that amazing?
That's unbelievable.
That's right. So and then 19 years, and then the oldest was 59. So that's the dichotomy we face.
Yeah.
So there's no space of saying that this cannot be done. If you don't do it today, no problem. Just keep going because it can be done in later days.
Yes.
As long as you have life, it can always be done.
From your energy level, I don't think you believe in the word impossible.
Not at all, because as we speak now, my next course I want to do is law.
Wow, you want to be like me?
Yes, I want to be like you.
I'm a lawyer.
Yes, I want to be like you.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because imagine me combining investment with law. Do you know
That's
how?
what I do every day.
So you see, right here, I'm also talking to a mentor, somebody who can also mentor me. Nobody's above mentorship. Nobody's above mentorship. Once you have experience more than I do, then you can mentor me, and vice versa. So the challenges can always be surmounted, and there is no need to say that because your mama didn't help you or your daddy didn't help you, therefore you cannot do it. I paid for my first degree.
You did?
Yes, I paid for my second degree.
You did?
And I paid for my professional exams.
Wow.
And I was paying pounds every day, and the pounds keeps going up. But I did.
Because you were determined.
Because I was focused. The word I love most in life, if you come to me now, even at your age, you ask me, what should you do in life? I will tell you, focus, number 1. Number 2, focus. And number 3, focus.
So you focus 3 times, yeah, okay. You talked about mentorship, and I mentor quite and several cohorts of youngsters. So Let me ask you this. What do you think is the most important characteristic to be a successful mentee?
A successful mentee should not focus on what he wants to get today, but allow himself or herself to go through the process that is laid down by the mentor. The mentor has already been where he's aspiring to go. He's gone through all the bumps or the hurdles. So if I tell you that it can be done, you better believe me, because I have been there. I saw the hurdles and I jumped over them, or I overcame them.
Yeah.
So it is doable. The only thing is that patient. Just be
and
patient.
teachability.
And determination.
Yeah.
Be patient. Just focus on the bigger game. And with time, you will get where you want to. And don't jump don't count two before you count one.
Yeah.
And most of our mentees, they don't understand that. So when they come and you take them through, they have open-minded, then they can get it.
Okay, I've asked you about the mentee. Let me ask you the same question about the mentor.
Yeah.
What is the most important characteristic for a successful mentor?
This is what I believe. If you are a mentor, you cannot give what you don't have. So as a mentor, you have to build capacity. So I keep on building my capacity all the time. What is new? What is the new order? Where is the world going? So every mentor should build his or her own capacity, so that you don't give the mentee the wrong stuff, because they are looking up to you. They are measuring your actions. And whatever you are doing, they are looking up to you. They are looking at it. Yes. They may not say anything, but the subtle moves, they look at it more than even what you are saying. So every mentor should be forthright. It's very important. Should have integrity. What are you imbibing in your mentees? If you say yes, it has to be yes. And above all, what I like most, every mentor should make sure that we keep to time, because time is money.
And it's irreplaceable.
It's irreplaceable, absolutely.
All right. One area you've been very active is the area of small, medium-sized enterprises, SMMEs. What is the working definition in Ghana? I want to be sure that we have the same definition of an SMME.
That's right.
And what work are you doing for SMMEs?
That's right. So the SMME, from 10 to 50, we can class them safely as SMEs.
10 to 50?
Yes, if you are able to,
employees
in terms of 10 to 50, we can class you safely as SMEs. Now, one of the things I specialize in is systems and controls. Now you find out that a lot of the SMEs are just working. They don't see the importance of laws or accounting regulations, laws as well, accounting regulations. And every year, once you are working in a country, you need to submit an account. Now you find out that a lot of them don't have it. So just a matter of time, the tax man comes after them, and the businesses that they are running collapses.
Fall apart,
So what I do is to tell you that, hey, what is your company? What are you into? Have you taken a second look at what you are doing? What the implication of the law on what you are doing? Imagine companies doing well, and a tax man comes around maybe after 2-3 years, and they said you owe a tax of excess of 50,000, which you have not seen before. And then they come to garnish your account or close your company down. So it's basically just giving.
The taxman in Ghana is just as powerful as the taxman in Botswana.
Yeah, absolutely. Taxmen everywhere
can just close you down.
They are even more powerful in the US.
Yeah.
Because that is the revenue that the country relies on to do all those beautiful infrastructures that we see every day. So
you put systems in place.
Yes. So I come to your company, or you just tell me about what you are doing. Then I'll tell you that first of all, if you want to guard against your revenue, you must have a sound controls system. Who is collecting the revenue? Is he banking the revenue regularly, or is he spending out of cash? These are ways people can just stifle your money. So collect every money, go bank them. If you want to do any expenditure, write a check. Simple. Some of them, they don't understand that.
Well, these days there are no checks. We now pay online.
Exactly. But you see, your country, Botswana, is different. My country is still largely
checks,
cash and check. So we are now trying to go cashless system. But as we speak now, largely businesses are done.
Okay.
Especially the small medium enterprises.
But what you're saying is cash leaves traces.
It leaves a lot of traces.
Yeah. So
and that's where people it's easily preferable, as we say. So people can easily tamper with it.
Yeah.
in the name of spending it on the
Yes.
company.
Now let's talk about the big topic which I'm very fascinated about.
Okay.
Africa Free Trade Agreement. Or there's a C there, Continental Trade Agreement. What can you tell us about it? The fact that it's headquartered in Ghana, for me, is fascinating.
That's right.
Tell us about your understanding of AFCTA and the role, if any, you are playing in terms of rolling it out.
Okay. So this is my understanding. And last year we were in South Africa, so we visited the Ghana embassy in South Africa, and it became more prominent. But for the COVID, we would have gone very far. Now there are things that this AFCTA is bringing for us to do easier than we are doing. There will be export. Also, I also run an export company.
Wow.
So I can export things like shea butter. I can export things like ginger. Can export. I'm even looking at cocoa.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a company that does that. So this Free Africa Trade is identifying products specific, a country specific, that we can trade among ourselves from one destination to another destination without the hassle of paying for freight or cargo charges. Basically, I just want to summarize how this whole thing about.
Yes.
And we should be ready to embrace it. So I can supply my things, if it's also a part of the AFCTA protocols or programs, from Ghana to South Africa or Botswana, and not have to pay the cargo charges or the shipment charges that we used to pay in the past. And to also trade among ourselves.
Yes.
Because we are over 1 billion. Africa is over 1 billion.
1.2 billion.
Yes, over 1 billion.
Yeah,
so you can imagine, Nigeria alone is 200 million plus.
Wow.
Yes. And Egypt, Ethiopia, over 100 million. So we can do a lot of big businesses among ourselves rather than going to China. We are creating, I'm not saying going to China is not good, but my problem is that you create all the jobs
for the Chinese. Yeah.
Who want to become superpower of the world.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the value chain. I mean, everybody's talking about how we only feature generally around A to Z, and then show up at Z. In terms of B right up to Y, the value chain, we're not there.
Yes.
In other words, we supply
the raw
materials, and then we get finished goods.
And then we now bring it up.
At a huge cost, because I just learned that one of the most expensive cell phones is 20,000 pula, the Apple phone.
Yes.
And I know that some of these ingredients are from Africa.
That's right.
But we don't feature anywhere in the middle.
That's right.
Yes. What do you say about the value chain challenges?
Again, that's why I will talk about collaboration. There are African countries that I think that can do better in terms of the one part of component than trying to say that one person cannot say he wants, in this modern era, that one company says that he wants to do everything. Even in the Europe, they are not doing that. When BMW or Mercedes-Benz is producing, there are component parts they get from other places that can get it cheaper.
Yes.
That's how come they can still be competitive. Africa, we are not investing in ourselves. And when we do invest, we are not doing the right things. So the cost of doing business in Africa is so high. And you know what we call in economics, we call economics of scale. If a country can do a particular thing better than the others, why would you want to do the same thing? So that is what we must overcome as an African country.
So it goes back to manufacturing.
It goes back to manufacturing.
How do we then resurrect? I say resurrect because there were times when you used to manufacture a lot more than we're doing.
That's right.
How do we energize Africa for manufacturing?
That is the biggest challenge that Africans and Africa must overcome. You remember one of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, is innovation, manufacturing, and industry. That is number 9. SDGs 9.
What is it?
And we are supposed to be getting close to this Sustainable Development Goals in 2030. Number 1 says no poverty. But look, have you done anything? We haven't, because our manufacturing base is dissipating every now and then. If you look at the percentage of manufacturing companies we have in Ghana, it's second to none. The president came with a famous statement that one district, one factory.
One district, one factory.
It was a huge Bold statement.
And how was it received?
It was received well, but then again,
what about execution or
implementation?
implementation?
That's the problem. Because you know the initial outlay for bringing plants, etc., is huge, and therefore government alone cannot do that.
So it's a question of barriers of entry.
Barriers of entry.
They're very high.
They are very high. So if we can get collaborations, like Dangote is doing. Look at Dangote. It means it can be done. Then we get the right manufacturing, plants, and then imagine Ghana now producing chocolate, and say that we are not going to sell cocoa to Switzerland again. Imagine that.
Because the Swiss don't have cocoa, but
they don't have cocoa.
Then they're the biggest
chocolate
producer. Yeah, that
do they get the raw
sense.
material
from Ghana and places like that.
And Cote d'Ivoire. So the problem is, how do we overcome the artificial barriers that were created and we have continued to believe that it cannot be overcome? If we are doing collaboration a lot, you can get a machine that can be done here that can produce cocoa cheaper. Then we don't have to take it to.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you something that I think is a little controversial that may have contributed to Africa's problem, the tendency to devalue our currencies. Have you ever thought about that? And are Africans now waking up to stop devaluing their currencies?
Devaluation in itself is not a bad idea, but the way you put it is very succinct. The tendency. Now, it looks like all we understand is if we have a little problem, then we devalue our country. If we have a little problem, then we devalue our country. We devalue our currency. And that is what we have been doing to ourselves. And that is the rippling effect on the economy. Look at how much rand you have to use to buy a dollar, or Ghana cedi you have to use to buy a dollar, or pula to dollar. Can you see that?
So you say it can be a good thing, but
it can be a good thing.
To me, where I'm sitting is a terrible thing.
Yes, it's a terrible thing because of the way we are applying it now.
Yes.
It gets to a point that you have to devalue your currency so that you'll be able to mitigate a short-term impact. But we are now using the whole devaluation as a long-term solution. That is where I agree with you that it can have a debilitating effect.
Okay, let's talk about A.F.C.T.A. I've been pushing our, chief negotiator of A.F.C.T.A. to get the government to ratify. Botswana is one of the few countries that hasn't. You were among the first to ratify.
Absolutely.
Help me sell the message of let's ratify quickly. What are we losing by being slow to ratify? Are you able to say?
Yes. So here is what I think we are losing: the ability for products or services to go across each country with rapidity. We are losing that. And if the more you wait, the more you are left behind. Because a lot of people have already come on board, which means that we are engaging each other.
Because other countries are already negotiating
That's
tariffs,
right.
They're already negotiating collaborations.
That's right.
But my country is still waiting to ratify.
Yes.
So maybe you're coming here when you.
So I think the government, if the government is listening,
yeah, they said they'll ratify. To be fair to them, they said they'll ratify in June. But we have to keep pushing.
We have to keep pushing, and the earlier they ratify, the better it will be for us.
Yes.
Who wants to have a collaboration with our friends and our counterparts here in Botswana?
Is the process of ratification in Ghana the same as here, where you take certain instruments to be submitted at the Secretariat to be filed?
That's right.
Okay.
It's the same process for consistency and then for rapidity.
Okay. All right. In terms of you as someone who's really thought about this, in the space where you are operating, accountancy, coaching, mentorship, how can we use the provisions of A.F.C.T.A, especially if you're looking at the protocol on services? How can you use the protocol on services to spur our businesses on?
Very well. That is. I think in my submission earlier, I mentioned something like that. One of them is the collaboration. Let's see in Ghana and South Africa has what we call tax treaty. Okay, so the tax treaty enables us to easily enjoy some tax rebates in South Africa when we are working, or in Ghana when you are there working. Now, let's just situate that in this context. You will find out that when these treaties are in place, look at how swift we all have life going, or as Ghanaians will say, life becomes easy.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's a lot to look forward to.
There's a lot to look forward to. But we have to keep pushing, and there's a lot that we must do as well.
You flew into Botswana last night, if I'm not wrong.
I drove.
You drove?
Yes.
All the way from
South Africa.
You landed
I landed in
Oliver Tambo.
That's right. And then we
drove.
Tambo
and then okay.
That's right. We wanted to see the road.
Yes.
And have a story to say.
Oh, I understand. So you arrived last night.
That's right.
And can you share with the viewer what your business is exactly, who you are meeting, and what you hope to attain? Yes.
Okay. So I've met one company I met a while ago, because my time is very short. It's called Kalahari Chocolate. And why was I drawn to Kalahari Chocolate? I'm giving them free advert now.
Yeah.
So people can go to Kalahari and buy
yeah.
chocolate. What I realized was that they innovatively, they have created a chocolate that they use for corporate entities. So they use it as gifts. So I'm told that during 14th February, Valentine's Day, they awash the whole Botswana with their chocolate, and during Christmas as well. So I came, and one of the conversation I had with the managing directors, how can I come in terms of the raw materials to your place, and how do you intend also to go into the other part of South Africa?
In other words, you want to bring the cocoa here?
Yes, it's doable. If I am there and it can be done, why not? So that's why I'm saying that the earlier we ratify this free agreement trade, the better it will be for all of us.
Yeah.
Now, so that's one of them. We're also looking at the service industry as well. We're also looking at the technology industry as well. How can we all collaborate? And so I've met her. We are going to meet other people, and then we'll see how the whole conversation will go. And this will not be the last time I'll be here. And in the course of the year, I will come and spend some more time, and then we'll see. We'll firm up some other things.
Okay. And obviously, you want to see what you can also bring from here to Ghana.
To South Africa.
Looking at those.
Yes, because one of the things you see, I'm wearing a very, very beautiful batakari, as we call it. This is a Ghanaian made.
Yeah.
And while I was at the immigration, a gentleman just saw me and said, "This is beautiful." Then he started speaking my language.
Yes.
So this is our identity.
Yeah.
So we can get some of these clothes less cheaper there, and we come here and put a little margin on it, and it will still be cheaper than if we want to get material and sew it in Botswana. Because a little bit of research I did is that in Botswana, sewing African stuff costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we can do it cheaper at that side and bring it here. Somebody sells it, and we pick our money and we go.
It's cheaper there because you have materials.
We have materials.
And the cost of labor is probably
it's also cheap.
Yeah. Because with a population of 30 million,
that's right.
We have an advantage.
30 million plus.
Yes,
we have an advantage.
Okay. All right. Now, always in this show, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs who watch the show, people will have encountered difficulties. Some would have given up on themselves. So it's always good to hear your story. What sort of setbacks have you encountered in your journey, in your entrepreneurial journey, before reaching to these levels?
That's right.
And what did you do to overcome those obstacles?
That's right. So one of the things clearly that happened during my earlier stages was that I set up an accounting firm called Kumado Consult. And what we wanted to do is to, prepare financial statements for companies and make some few cedis or dollars. But you see, that market in itself is also heavily regulated, number one. And then number two, it's so difficult to tender and win. So
why? I hope it's not corruption.
No, it's not. Corruption is everywhere. Anyway.
Yeah, okay, but that's not the main reason.
But that's not the main reason. Now, the main reason is that there are already existing similar companies. Now, so the competition is very keen. So I've come to realize that as an entrepreneur, listen, you need to identify a need and solve that need. That is what makes you an entrepreneur. So if you have not if everybody is doing what you are doing, then know that you might not take part of the market share, or your share in the market space will be very low. So identify your unique need and then pursue that unique need.
Some call it a USP, unique selling proposition.
Unique selling proposition. That is it. And so the challenges that I faced, and several other, I've also been into buying and selling, and it was booming, and we were making money. And not long, others came into the same space. and they did better than us. So we folded up. So we did not give up. We went into farming, did a bit of animal husbandry. It's working a little. Okay, now we are still observing. What I'm trying to say is that until you get that high selling point, you don't stop.
You keep moving.
You keep moving. And don't also forget that as you move along, do not forget to build your capacity. I can handle things better today because I have built my capacity. So you don't really regret what you went through? Absolutely. They were all part of the process of growing up. If you don't lose out, you don't have any experience. If you don't, so failure is part of success. Failure is 100% success. Failure is a success in disguise.
Failure is success in disguise.
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing to say. And why do you think people find it so difficult to overcome that? I mean, I've often noticed that when you are little, you never give up when you're walking.
No.
But why is it that after 2 or 3 attempts, when you're older, you give up?
That's right, because we go into whatever it is we are going into with a mindset of making money. You see, instead of looking at the processes that leads to you making money, now we want to be like a lawyer like you, an entrepreneur like you, because you have a lot of money. So you see, the foundation that we are laying is wrong. And permit me to quote just one Bible.
Yes, one Bible.
Psalm 11, Psalm 11 verse 3 says that if the foundation is destroyed, what shall the righteous do? So before...
What shall they?
What shall the righteous do if the foundation is destroyed? So we are starting on the wrong footing. So it's just a matter of time. The foundation is already destroyed. So you give up so easily. So I'm saying that as an entrepreneur, make sure that you follow the protocols, the processes. Give yourself time to grow. You will grow, but give yourself time.
Okay. I wouldn't leave a conversation like this without talking about COVID, because we're in the middle of COVID.
That's right.
We even still have curfews here in Botswana.
That's right.
What is the COVID situation in Ghana? And I'm obviously, how is the setup there? How bad or how good is it?
That's right. So you see, leadership. Leadership is very, very important. Every other thing is cost and effect. But leadership is the center of everything. Yeah,
because everything rises and falls on leadership.
And falls on leadership. So leadership is the mainstay. Other things are cost and effect. So what did our president do? The first 3 weeks of 1 month or so, there was a heavy lockdown. And since then, we've never had lockdown. And we've never had curfew. Why? Because the citizens have been told that if you don't do this, you don't do that, there will be problem. So the what I will call the free will to support your government, irrespective of your party affiliation, is very important. And also the government or the president rallying the citizens, the people, is also very important. So when we realize that this case is going up, then they intensify lockdowns. We haven't done any lockdowns since the first
Even
one.
from the beginning?
We had only one. Within the intensified 3 weeks from March to towards ending of March or April. But since then, last year.
Then you stopped?
We stopped. People, because it was killing people. Let me give you an example. Some people sell ice water. Ice water is water we sell on the street. I told you our economy is different. And that is how they make their money. Now, if your government, you shut down that economy, how is that person going to survive? The informal economy. How is the person going to survive?
No way.
So what the government did is that make sure your mask is on, make sure you have your hand sanitizer, and make sure that every now and then you sanitize your hand and go about doing your business. Maintain social distancing. A lot of people don't do that, but once you recollect that people are dying, then it behooves on you to do the right thing. So the death rate as we speak has not even reached 1,000.
Oh, okay.
It's been kept to minimum.
For 30 million people, that's remarkable. 30 million,
yes. So the government has done well in this regard.
But do you have curfews?
We don't have curfews.
So you just stick to the basics?
We just stick to the basics. Just that we have locked down we've locked down the beaches, we've locked down the pubs, we've locked down those areas that we think that it can bring people gathered together.
Too many.
We have they are still under lockdown. And churches are working, but not full capacity.
Yes,
You're
yes.
allowed to run 3 shifts,
So it's
2 hours
same as
per,
here. Yeah.
same as here. So there's no lockdown.
So, what do you say about the COVID dividends? So some people, for instance, the richest people in the world, they grew their wealth by 30 to 40%.
That's right.
So that's a COVID dividend for the rich.
That's right.
What is a COVID dividend for Ghanaians or for entrepreneurs in Ghana?
That's right. So the COVID dividends, one of them is the new order, or we are saying that we are no longer doing things the way they are supposed to be done. Now, a lot of people, I dare say, have no choice but to hook to what? The internet. The things that we fear most those days. Okay, so now businesses are flourishing online. Most of the meetings that we have are also held online. So COVID, the dividend is both end. Even though the center of those businesses are not here, but we are also, imagine people dying as against people living. That in itself is a dividend.
Yes, yes. Just as the numbers on their own.
That's right.
If you look at CNN and see what's
That's
happening in America,
that's right.
compared to us.
And the way they projected Africa to just extinct, and now they realize that we still keep going.
Yeah.
In their amazed. Of course, there's also the God factor.
Yeah.
We believe that God is a healer.
Yeah.
So
the faith, our faith has come in. Absolutely. All right. Now, talk generally about the entrepreneurial spirit and the entrepreneurial zest.
Okay.
How is it in Ghana, and how do you see it really? Because I happen to be one of those people who believe that entrepreneurship is going to solve our problems in the long run.
That's right. So that's a dichotomy we should look at. Now, if we don't have also the right entrepreneurs who are coming to occupy the same space, then the time will come, a lot of people are going to lose interest in entrepreneurship. So it means that we have to keep talking about entrepreneurship the right way. And a lot of young men and women are beginning to appreciate that that is the way to go. Now, the challenge, therefore, becomes the availability of funds to embark on one's entrepreneurial journey. It's an area that we have to look at as Ghanaian. And I believe that the country is doing quite well. You know, government cannot solve all our problems.
No, it can't.
I don't get it when people think that government must do everything. Probably the government also comes across as somebody who promises that he can solve everything. Then you get there, you realize that the resources are just scanty. You can't do everything. So entrepreneurs are growing up, they're coming up, innovation is happening in Ghana, people are developing softwares, etc. But the care is that we also don't lose focus. That if we don't harness it and handle it well, it might boomerang. And if it boomerangs, people may also may lose interest. That is my fear.
Yeah, yeah.
That is my fear.
So in other words, we have a window of opportunity to really conscientize the public about entrepreneurship.
And model it well.
And model it well.
That's right.
Otherwise, people were going to say, this thing is not good for us.
It's not good for us.
No, that's a very good way of looking at it. Very interesting perspective there. All right. This is the part of the show, Mr. Kumado, where you get to ask me a question. Any question?
Yes. So I want to just ask you one question. What is that one thing that made you not to give up in life? And what do you want to be remembered for?
Those are two questions.
2 in 1.
The first part is faith. You know,
That's right.
When you've been brought up in a faith environment, that the central part of faith tells you never give up. The righteous man, the righteous man falls and rises 7 times. The wicked man falls to his destruction once. So that is the kind of thing that has kept us. The belief that there's always something better. There's always something around the corner. It doesn't matter how bad it gets. Sometimes I used to be faced in a situation where I didn't know where I'm going to pay payroll. It still happens today. How am I going to pay all these people? I've told them that I'm going to employ them. Where am I going to get the money? But somehow, through that faith and through that belief, there's a turnaround. Month end, we're able to find the money, we pay the people.
Hallelujah.
Yes, so it's faith.
That's right.
Nothing more than anything else. The second part of your question was?
How do you want to be remembered?
Well,
if you leave the surface of this earth.
I have four taglines, which is that for this show, which is really is me, which are, to enthuse, to inspire, to energize, and to empower. So if I can do those 4 things, or some variety of 4 of those to human beings I interact with, that'll be enough.
Absolutely.
I want to be able to remember for those 4 things and to be able to impact society positively in that regard. Yeah.
That's great.
I hope I've answered both
Absolutely.
questions.
Absolutely.
You asked me the toughest questions. Yeah. All right. Now, I want you to look at that particular camera there.
Yes.
I want you to leave words of motivation.
That's right.
Anything, just say a few words. You have about a minute or 2
That's
to inspire whoever is looking at you now.
That's right. So now, my fellow entrepreneurs, this is what I want you to know. In Proverbs chapter 24, verse 4, it said, a house is built by wisdom, but it is established by understanding. So this is what you should do. In all they are getting, get understanding. What do you want to do in life? Don't start unless you have understanding. Wisdom is revenue. Wisdom is the first level of revenue. Now, if you have wisdom, you can build a house, but you need understanding to establish the house that you have built. I'm not just making a conjecture. I'm telling you what the good book says. And if you add that to the hard work, the focus, the persistence, the consistency, then as I say, the sky, not only the sky that should be your limit, but the space, because the world is big enough for all of us to take a little bit of the pie. Thank you very much.
Wow. You are in Botswana for a very short time. People who want to engage with you. So please look at the camera again, tell them your contact details, where are you accessible on social media?
That's right.
How do they reach you?
That's right. So you can contact me at abkumado@gmail.com, abkumado@gmail.com, and you can also reach me on WhatsApp +233 241 221157. +233 241 221157. Once you put a hashtag Botswana, even when I'm sleeping, I'll get up and I'll answer you. Because the difference between Botswana and Ghana is 2 hours. So if you are 8 o'clock, I am 6 o'clock. So I can still mentor you far from here, or anything that you want to understand from Ghana. I will be there and I'll be your collaborator in doing so.
Wonderful.
Which is very important to me.
And just encourage them to keep watching this show, Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom, and tell them that you are going to publicize it in Ghana.
That's right. Yes, I'm going to publicize this show in Ghana. It means that it will not be long. You'll be having some Ghanaian followers. I'm going to like it. And then we want to build this in a year to come. Let me prophesy or project. In a year to come, it is now 3,000, isn't it?
Yes.
So in a year to come, we are looking at 90,000.
Unbelievable. Amen to that.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
So
90,000 subscribers.
That's what I'm praying for.
Yes.
In a year to come.
Yes. Within the next 12 months.
Next 12 months.
Okay.
Year to come.
With your help, with their help,
that's right.
Nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. And the SADC community will soon know that there is a wisdom nugget right here in Botswana.
Right here in Botswana. It remains for me, Mr. Abraham Kwesi Khumado, or fellow entrepreneur and educator and motivator, all those things. It remains for me to formally thank you, to acknowledge you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. You've been more than generous with information. We've been so inspired by you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I will call you Dr. soon because that is the